Welcome back. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. It is Thanksgiving Day. We got 3 NFL games on Thursday. My favorite picks are on the way. Be sure to spend some time with your friends and family, but doesn't mean we can't make money during the same process. So we got 3 player props, 1 PrizePicks entry, 1 sleeper entry at the end of the video. Now, in a separate video post at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight on Wednesday night, if you're watching this on Thursday, the video is already live. We have our long shot parlays video. We cooked up 2 long shot parlays, not to turn $10 to $1,000, but some parlays that are like plus 600 and plus 1,100 odds to sweat all day long. We really like it. I'll link the video in the description. Also at the end of this one, go check it out. Should be live, like I said, 6 p.m. Eastern. So maybe live by the time you're watching this video. But look, we got to address the elephant in the room. My NFL record so far this season, I am down 14.57 units. It has been a terrible season. I don't even, just even looking at that number is just unfathomable. And I have no excuses. Sure, we could blame some bad luck, but I've had my fair share of bad reads in there too and bad bets made. And you know what? I think I only do best with backs against the wall, and I got some pressure on me. So if we do not turn that negative into a positive by the end of the season, the Super Bowl, by February, whenever date that is, I'll give away $100 to 3 random people that are subscribed to the channel. Simple as that. Hit that subscribe button and you could potentially be $100 richer. That is how confident I am that we turn this season around. I got to buckle on in. We got to turn it around. And it starts today on Thursday with a 3-0 day. Let's dive into it. Now, there are some things going in our favor. We got 2 free squares that you guys can take advantage of. I'll talk about how I'm using each of them at the end of the video. The first one is on sleeper for Dak Prescott to get 1 yard. He's going to get that done. It's a free square, the $10 minimum. But make sure if you sign up for sleeper, use our link in the description or code COS. Not only do you get that free square, you also get 100% deposit match up to $100. Consider it my Thanksgiving present using our code COS. And then there's also one on PrizePicks, same exact thing. CMC, Christian McCaffrey to get 1 yard. Same thing if you are to sign up for PrizePicks, make sure you use our code COS or the top link in description. Should be right next to that sleeper link. And then right above it should be that parlays video that will be posted at 6 p.m. So I'll show how I'm using each of those because they're available to every single user out there. I'll show how I'm using them at the end of this video. But like I said, we need to lock in. We desperately need a great Thanksgiving day. And I'm going to deliver just that. We got 3 picks. Let's dive into the first one. It's a 1.5 unit play. Let's talk about these guys. David Montgomery, 50 plus rushing yards, and Jahmyr Gibbs, his teammate, 25 plus rushing yards. This is the same game parlay, but 1.5 units on it, minus 125 on FanDuel. Now, honestly, terrific value on FanDuel. If you try to input this on DraftKings, it's minus 300. I truthfully don't know how the difference is minus 125 to minus 300 on different books. That's just crazy. Bet365 has it at minus 210. And honestly, I'd put probably more than 1.5 units on it if my NFL season record was not negative. If it was, we were in the close to the positives, I'd be like, maybe we put 2-3 units on it. That's how confident I am in this one. But considering it's negative and things have just gone wonky on us, I'll just put 1.5 units and hopefully build the bankroll like that. Now, you're like, Austin, I don't have the ability to bet same game parlay like this. What would you recommend? I really like David Montgomery's over in rushing yards today. He's the main one there. I think Jahmyr Gibbs gets at least 25 too. But let's talk about these 2 Lions running backs and why I'm putting them in a 2-leg, same game parlay. We look at in 6 games so far this season that Montgomery has played in. I'm going to get rid of 1 game where he got injured in. He's had 65 plus rushing yards, so well above 50 in all 6 of them. He's averaged 93 rushing yards in those games. And since his return from injury 2 weeks ago, he's at 116 and 76 rushing yards. Yeah, simple as that. He's faced this Green Bay Packers defense before, had 121 rushing yards against them earlier this season in week 3. Now, at the same time, while we need David Montgomery to get some rushing yards, we also are going to need his teammate, Jahmyr Gibbs, to get his work in. Gibbs has been doing his thing. He's averaging 5.2 yards per carry, 25 plus rushing yards in 7 of 8 games so far this season. And he had 40 versus Green Bay in week 3, that same game where Montgomery had 121. These are guys that honestly, they run very differently, but both super successful behind a very good Lions offensive line. Lions offensive line is going to dominate this game, in my opinion. The Green Bay Packers have just not been a team that's been great at stopping the run. We just saw Austin Eckler average 6.4 yards per carry. He had 64 rushing yards against them. You saw Jalen Warren and Najee Harris each go for 80 plus against them. This is just a Packers team that honestly, I think they're going to try their best to slow down Jared Goff the pass game. I think they're going to just, let the Lions run the ball a little bit in the first half. Be like, if you want to beat us, run the football, go for it. But I really think that's where they feast. I know it's Thanksgiving Day. Let the two running backs eat. I really like this one. Like I said, I would put more than 1.5 units if we weren't negative on the season, but I really like both these two guys. They have rushing attempts line set to 10.5 for Jahmyr Gibbs, 14, 15.5 for David Montgomery. They're expecting them to get the rock. I like 50 for David and 25 for Jahmyr. That should be easy. Go do your jobs. Let's hopefully not have a terrible game script, but the Packers are never leading. That's just not what they do. So we should see David and Jahmyr have pretty good days. Just stay healthy, my friends. That's all I'm asking for. Now let's move to the second game. It's going to be the Commanders versus the Cowboys. I'm going to have a play that I anticipate not a lot of people liking, and I'm willing to stick out my head out there and just to take this one. It's Sam Howell of the Washington Commanders under 39.5 passing attempts, minus 108 on FanDuel. Now, this line was 40.5 on PointsBet, but I just don't really want to lay a minus 125, minus 130 juice on that. I think if Sam Howell goes under his regular pass attempts line, which some books have it at 28.5, he's probably going under pretty easily. I don't think this line comes down to being real close. Either he ends with like 33, 35, or ends with like 42. That's just probably how it works. But let's talk about the bad news first, because Sam Howell this season and the last 5 games, look at his pass attempts, 42, 52, 45, 44, and 45 pass attempts going over in 5 straight. Now, those came against the Giants, 20th, Seattle, 30th, New England, 27th, and Philly, 12th. Now, he did play in the Giants twice. Now, you're like, Austin, what the heck are those numbers in parentheses? Well, that would be the number of opponents' plays that the team allows. So in terms of, if your number was first in those parentheses, that means you give up the least amount of plays ran by your opponent. However, all these teams are basically near the back of the pack in the bottom, definitely bottom 12, bottom 5 in a lot of these circumstances, except for the Eagles in a game where they scored 69 combined points and Sam Howell was dealing. What does that tell me is that, Sam Howell, he's going to throw it a lot because this is a very pass-happy Commanders offense. However, the Cowboys on the other side, if you compare those teams in terms of, how these teams control the clock, the Cowboys, who we will face on Thursday, are not only second in opponents' plays allowed, don't allow a ton of opponent plays, and they're third in time of possession. Those two things go hand in hand. So not only are they controlling the clock, they're keeping the ball in the opponent's offense, they're just limiting the amount of plays that the opponent's going to run, and I love that bet for this one here. Now, I know a lot of people probably won't like it and won't be on board with it, and that's fine. I'd rather you guys trust your own analysis, but I really think this line is too high given the matchup. Now, if you look at just the track record, you see, the last 5 games going over, I got to bet the over again. I don't necessarily think that's the right way to go here. I think this is a lower scoring game than people might anticipate, and I really do think this is one where the Cowboys just control the clock. This is the Cowboys team third best third down conversion percentage. It's also a great Cowboys defense at getting people off the field too, and we've seen in 10 games this season, the Cowboys have seen only 281 pass attempts. That is the second fewest in the NFL, an average of 28.1 per game. The only lower team is the Cleveland Browns. The most they've ever faced was Justin Herbert. He threw 37 pass attempts. The next closest was Bryce Young at 29. So 9 of the 10 quarterbacks didn't even get the 30 pass attempts against the Cowboys. And let's keep in mind, the Cowboys have smoked some teams. They've smoked teams like 25, 30 points. And that's a great passing, game script. And still, these guys aren't even getting close to the line. Justin Herbert, obviously, he's in a very pass-happy offense. And obviously, Sam Howell is too, which hence why the line is high. But I think this is a great spot to back a Sam Howell under. I consider his completions under, consider his passing yards under. I'd rather just take the attempts in case there's like some garbage time thing go down. I really like this one. This is one of my favorite picks of the weekend. I really like it. Or the Thursday, I really like Sam Howell under 39.5 pass attempts. It's a very high line. I know he's been crushing it the last few weeks. I think this is where he comes back down to earth in this one. Give me Sam Howell's under in pass attempts. Now, my third and final pick for Thursday, and obviously we'll have that long shot video, so go check out that. It's going to be a running back for the San Francisco 49ers going to the last game on the slate. Christian McCaffrey over 113.5 rushing plus receiving yards minus 115 on DraftKings. Now, as I type this, FanDuel did not have and now as I speak, FanDuel did not have a rushing plus receiving yards line. Probably by, Wednesday night, they probably have one. It's normally listed under the rushing props category. I really think this is going to be a great prop to back CMC. If you had to pick an individual line, I lean the rushing yards, but CMC is used so heavily in the receiving game that here's games where he goes off for like 60, 75 receiving yards, and I want to be on that too. I really think he's a lock for like 20 to 25. There's always a chance he gets 50 plus. And let's talk about so far this season and how CMC's done against the Seattle Seahawks, the team he faces on Thursday. Last year, he played them twice, once in the regular season, once in the postseason. He had 138 and 136 rushing plus receiving yards, absolutely soaring over this line. Now, the Seahawks secondary, got to give them credit where credit's due. They've played much better than they did the first few weeks of the season, and I don't necessarily see huge days coming from Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and those guys, unless it's maybe yards after the catch, if that's the case. So I think this is a great opportunity for the 49ers to attack. They're not only using their ground game, but also CMC in the air, where we've seen a lot of running backs have success against the Seahawks linebackers. You saw Brian Robinson just a few weeks ago, 119 receiving yards versus the Seahawks. His teammate Antonio Gibson had 42 of his own. Last week, Darrell Henderson, who doesn't really catch a ton of passes, 28 receiving yards last week, and his teammate Royce Freeman had like 80 rushing yards. So they got combined and got it done. And there's few running backs, if any, in the NFL that have not only a consistent workload out of the backfield like CMC, but also are as talented out of the backfield as Christian McCaffrey. So, look, this guy has 5 receptions in 3 straight. This season, we've seen him hit this over an average of 818.9 rushing plus receiving yards. That includes a game he got injured in. You remove that one, goes up to 126. He's had 115 plus rushing and receiving yards, hitting this over in 6 of 10 games. He's had some close calls with a 103 last week. He's had 96, 78, and 52 the game he got injured in. So, I really don't think the Seahawks have an answer for him. Trent Williams is back. He's that great left tackle that really gets out on some pulls for Christian McCaffrey. We know how talented CMC is. I'll roll with him. I think this is a massive game for CMC. This is a closer spread than I really expected. On the road, I think they lean on him a little bit more. Elijah Mitchell just has not been producing a ton. I really like Christian McCaffrey. Give me his over 113.5 rushing plus receiving yards. My third and final pick for Thursday. That wraps up a 3-0 card. But let's talk about those 2 free squares that we're going to talk about. The first one, Dak Prescott's free square on Sleeper. Reminder, just for him to get 1 yard, and make sure if you sign up for Sleeper, use our code COS or the top link in the description. You get a 100% deposit match up to $100. We're talking about Dak Prescott. His free squares right there. CMC's rushing plus receiving yards were there. David Montgomery to get a rushing touchdown. I'm pretty confident he gets that, and he's done that in like 6 of 7 games. And Sam Howell, under 25.5 completions. They didn't have pass attempts. Honestly, they go hand in hand. I like the completions just as much, and if the completions hit and not the pass attempts, I'm going to be down bad. So let's talk about that. $10 to win 101. I love it. Let's move on to PrizePicks, how I'm using the CMC free square. We got him in there for just 1 rushing plus receiving yard. Pretty sure he gets that. Sam Howell's under in pass attempts, 38.5. Love that. Tony Pollard and David Montgomery each to get a rushing touchdown. Each of those are very juiced on the book. Some books have Tony Pollard like minus 170 to score a touchdown. Now, obviously, he could do it in the air, but I like the matchup for him to pound one in the end zone. And he finally got into the rushing touchdown last week, got off the snide of his touchdown-less streak. I think it's another one. And then David Montgomery. This is the guy that has a touchdown 6 of 7. There's a reason he's double-dipped in both of these 2 entries. So, I really like it. $20 to win $200. Reminder, sign up for PrizePicks using our code COS or the top link in the description. Let's have a wonderful Thursday. You guys have a great Thanksgiving. I will be back for NBA Best Bets videos on Friday. You'll see that other long shot video, which will be live at 6 p.m. Eastern time Wednesday night. You can check that out. It'll be live on the channel. I'll link it right above on the channel. We also have a day in the life of Austin, myself. If you want to go check that out on the second channel, I'll link it here as well. It was posted Wednesday as well. So let's have a wonderful day. I appreciate all you guys' love and support. Even though it has been the greatest NFL season for us, we're going to turn it around, or else I'm giving away some money. I need to turn this around, and we will do just that on Thursday. Let's go 3-0 and dominate and start a hot streak. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.